Hi, and welcome to the fourth annual Move Arizona Captains Meeting. I'm Cindy Davis from Life and Work Connections, your meeting host and Move Arizona facilitator. If you have any questions after this, please feel free to email me. So what is Move Arizona and how did we do last year? We're briefly going to go over the numbers from last year. Why is there a physical activity goal and how do we meet that goal? We're going to talk about important dates. And of course, remember, time is of the essence. Deadlines are going to be honored, especially this year that we have a new tracker. And of course, the most important change is the new tracker, as well as HIP offering 500 points for participating or meeting the goal of 150 minutes per week. Your captain's responsibilities have not changed much. So if you don't have any questions there, we'll just go ahead and we'll talk a little bit during the presentation about responsibilities or duties for the captain. You can still lead up to 4 teams. Move Arizona is an 8-week physical activity workplace challenge designed to encourage participants to incorporate physical activity in your daily routine. You are encouraged to meet the physical activity guidelines for Americans, which is 150 to 300 minutes of moderate physical activity per week. That is the goal. That is how to get your 500 points from the Health Impact Program. The guidelines were released by the Office of Disease Prevention and Health Prevention, a division of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The current edition was developed in collaboration with the Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the National Institutes of Health and the President's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition. So let's look back at last year's numbers. They exceeded our expectations. So a great big thank you goes out to everyone who was there and completed your part. Per the breakdown, we had 112 teams with a total of registered 770 team members. And of that 770 people that were logged, we had 1,528,261 minutes of physical activity. I don't know about you, but I think it's great to be able to say I was part of that. And I'm excited to know that there's a lot of active people around me. This year, it's turned to add to those minutes, and of course, I have an internal goal of us reaching over 2 million minutes, because we do want to meet that 150 minutes per week and get those 500 points. For fun, we compared last year's numbers with other activities. So the average trip around the sun is 365 days or 525,600 minutes. In 2021, the average Major League Baseball game time was 3 hours, 10 minutes, or 190 minutes. And so as you can see, looking at those, we did almost 3 trips around the sun, and we sat through just a little over 8,000 Major League Baseball games. So let's talk about those Lego kits. Efficient packing lines can pack over 50,000 boxes of Lego kits in 24 hours or in 1,440 minutes. That means with all of our minutes, we packed over 50,000 boxes of Lego kits. That's pretty cool. And we won't go into if you've ever stepped on a Lego. That's a lot of physical activity you get from doing that. The Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans, second edition, recommends that the average American spend 150 minutes in moderate physical activity per week. For those of you who are already at the goal, increasing your minutes to 300 does show additional benefits. And just keep in mind that any bout of physical activity of any length contributes to your health benefits. So just keep in mind that climbing a flight of stairs can contribute to better and increased health. And if you're looking for a number, climbing 50 stairs a day reduces the risk of disease. So just overall, reducing sedentary behavior is beneficial and adds to better health. In fact, it reduces all-cause mortality, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain types of cancers. Encourage your more sedentary team members to maybe get started now so they can get up to that 150 minutes per week. But keep in mind that just any increment or just any increase in activity is a bonus. If you're already sedentary, we just know changes start once you've reached that 60 minutes or 1 hour a week. Physical activity exercise has been called medicine. So we want to encourage you by using Move Arizona, get out there and find your own movement medicine. Another advantage of Move Arizona is we encourage double dipping. We've already talked about the health impact program once. You can log your physical activity and use those points towards and up to the monetary incentive offered by the state. And again, you're going to get more points by just participating in this activity and reaching that goal. So keep in mind that it's not just participation. You don't get participation points. You have to reach the goal of 150 minutes per week. And I'll talk about how important it is to log weekly in just a few moments. Again, as I said, they agreed to give us those 500 points for meeting this goal for each person who does. So just keep in mind that you can go in and backlog up to 2 weeks during the program using the new challenge runner. So in other words, you won't be able to backlog over 3 weeks. So if you miss the first week and 3 weeks later you go, oh, I need to go back, you won't be able to. So you won't meet that goal. So get in there, get those minutes logged in. And keep in mind, physical activity can be broken down into manageable segments. It's recommended that physical activity be broken down and not done all at once. Many of us are busy. You don't have extra time during the day. And so an hour or more of extra physical activity might be a little bit harder. So shorter segments throughout your day may be more manageable and easier to reach. Your 15-minute goal or your 15-minute break at work is a great way to get in some physical activity. If you don't get a break, keep in mind, do you walk to meetings over in other places on campus? So that's physical activity and it counts. If you walk your dog during the day, and I know some people would like to tell me that doesn't count, I say that anytime you're standing up and you're moving, it counts. But I understand we have what we call 5-footers, where my dog has to stop and sniff every 5 feet. So just keep going, try to get some speed going in between those few times. Just don't sweat it. Just keep in mind your small times count and add up over time. Don't discount or sweat the small stuff. Just get out there, get moving. It all adds up to better health. There are apps, step counters, and stopwatches on most phones that can keep a record of your daily physical activity. If you brainstorm ideas with your team members, you can create a way to monitor daily activity and count all those minutes. Remember, it's all cumulative and it all counts. Increasing your health outcomes by specifically reducing the risk of chronic disease. Be a cheerleader for your team or teams. I encourage daily physical activity. Recognize someone else who might be encouraging to others. This way, you as a team captain, you also want to set a goal. You can be physically active and set the example for your team. These are just some examples of moderate physical activity. Some can spark an interest rate, but all can raise your heart rate. That's the goal. This list gives you some commonly thought of activities, but they're not a comprehensive list. And some that I didn't add here are rowing, jazzercise, jump rope, marching in place, dancing, all forms, jumping jacks, squat jumps, stair climbing, and elliptical. And there's so many more that are just that I'm sure I haven't added here, but as long as the activity raises your heart rate, it counts. Everyone can benefit from physical activities regardless of your age, your abilities, your ethnicity, shape, or size. Simple activity is generally safe for most people. If you aren't in shape, you might want to begin being physically active, but might not want to begin by being physically active by taking an 8-mile hike. Just start with a few laps around the block first, work your way up to that hike. There's nothing wrong with that. But in the meantime, you might notice the benefits that are listed on the slide. Some as soon as you finished your first 10 minutes of physical activity, and others might take more time. I can personally say that walking has been my stress reliever, and I use it liberally. And of course, I'm sure that it reduces a lot of other things. I have better health outcomes. I know that sometimes when I can't think clear, I might decide to get up and take a walk. Oftentimes, better sleep is a benefit of physical activity. Keeping in mind that managing your weight is another positive side effect of being physically active. And of course, we don't want to forget about reducing the risk of common chronic diseases, which I've mentioned before. And overall physical activity can just improve your quality of life. So I want to thank you for coming to today's meeting. I want to stress the importance of registering your team on time. Registration starts February 7th and goes through the 20th. Um, uh, by February 20th, it will be closed. And what I will tell you is that I will be working religiously to make sure that you have everything you need. We began on a Wednesday, and we will end on a Tuesday. I always check my own calendar there. And the tracking tool will be closed the day after the last day of Move Arizona. And it will be closed early in the day because I will have to get everything done and out to our communication specialist so that she can give us our wrap-up email. So the new tracker really allows us to check the leaderboard, see where others stand via anonymous assigned numbers, and you can create a team photo for your leaderboard. Each captain is going to have up to 4 teams this year. It encourages more people to participate, especially those who don't want to be a captain. Each captain can choose to lead only one team or up to 4 teams. The first team can have 2 to 10 team members, with a captain being one of the team members of the first team, and 2 through 4 can have 9 members each. So setting the teams up this way requires the captain to determine which team they will be logging their minutes. And each captain, again, will have a total of 37 people if they choose. If you get that many, that's awesome. I'm on your team. Each team needs a name. So each of your 4 will need a name. And if you've got one name and you just want to add a 1, 2, 3, 4 behind each of those same names, you can do that. I would actually encourage you to register maybe with the 1 in front, but still only 10 team members for one team, and that's okay. So as a captain, your responsibilities will be to create your team or teams. You'll assist with choosing names for each team. You're going to gather all team members' names, department number, and net ID. And a reminder, the net ID is what you sign on to your computer with. It's that first line up there. It's not your employee ID. I don't need that. Register your team. Set up weekly emails to remind team members to log their minutes, and of course, motivate all team members to keep moving. And you may share the link for the physical activity tracker when it goes live. It's definitely going to be sometime after the 21st, between the 21st and 28th. I'll make sure that it's live and available for everyone to get registered. There will be a separate email going out that will share with you or tell you what you link to get onto that tracker. And only the minutes that you log during each week of the program will be counted. In your weekly communications, I would encourage every team captain to send out a weekly communication. I know sometimes I will wait till the last minute and almost forget about it. And I have forgotten about it. I usually set myself up a goal of sending one out every Friday. And sometimes I would forget. So then I would wind up doing it on Monday. And since we are doing it, the week's a little bit different, that's okay. But I would say, go ahead and set yourself a goal so that way you'll know. Relay what motivates you to keep going. And of course, encourage your team to be physically active. I like to ask questions when I have a team, and that way it gets them to respond back to me so I know they've kind of read what's going on. Of course, if you have any questions, ways to motivate, some of the, the, the newsletters going out will have some good info there. The goal is to create the healthy habit of more physical activity by setting and reaching a goal. Science backs up this goal. Focus on motivating your team to maintain or increase physical activity as part of a healthy lifestyle. Note the important dates on your calendar so you don't miss any. Always reach out to me if you're not quite sure, if you can't find them. Don't hesitate to ask. I'm more than happy to let you know. Just be sure to register your team on time. And of course, we'll share the tracker with your team as soon as we get the information. Everyone should get it, but check in with your team and make sure if they didn't get it, then it's very possible somehow they got missed, and we will figure out where they may have been missed. So let's talk about that demonstration of the registration form real quick. So I will see, let me show you this wonderful new, it's called Challenge Runner. And it does have apps so that you can, of course, use an app on your phone. You can just go into your PC, and the really nice part is you can link to information. Now, what I will tell you is what you're looking at right now is where we actually played with it. There were several of us who got to play with it back in August. You may see some of the names here, actually, you'll just see my name. One of the things I will tell you, the description is basically set up by the people who run Challenge Runner, and so you can go in and check this out. It talks about promoting wellness and, of course, getting logged in. So this does the team members, so you may recognize some of the names. These are some prior captains that we asked for their assistance. And of course, you saw our team picture. We were Team Wilma, and I was on Team Wilma, and this is Wilma. So we used her there. One of the really nice things is many of you have asked, can we get our own trackers, personal trackers, to log in or sync up with the new tracker? So that was one of the things that we looked at. And so here are some of the ones that they talk about. I know this one's been asked about. So I'm not going to go any further, but you can authorize and you can go in and set your tracker up. Now, I have to admit, during this time period, I personally did not set up a tracker. I actually, this is the award. So what I'm trying to do in doing this is set it up so that every team will know when they've met their 150 minutes or the 300 minutes. So let me show you over here on these three dots. Go to CSV, and under daily, it's not going to do it. Okay. View participant milestones. Oh, hold on. Let me log myself back in. Here, view awards. Well, let's see here. You can see here when we reach 300 minutes. I didn't go beyond that, but one of the things I want you to do, excuse me, is note that these little blue bands, that's when you get 150 and then 300 per the team. So as you can see, both teams here, we go to daily, individual. So when I click on individual, it shows my own team. It won't show anybody else's. And notice only my name shows up. So you see that I actually was the one who logged in with the lowest count at that time period. But then you have CR023 and then numbers. So everybody gets assigned a number at that point. So you can see what was kind of done. I think you have to check the leaderboard on a daily basis there. But let's pull in and it will show Well, it should show minutes. Unfortunately, we don't have anything because we don't have anything going at the moment. But you should be able to see using that. You can see participant milestones. So you can see when they got their first 150 minutes, and then it should tell you when they got the second 300 minutes. Let's look at that. Wilma. So it's not going into it. Oh, there it goes. I think part of the problem with the 300 minutes is I set that up after the fact. I wasn't thinking and didn't set everything. So I'll make sure that's done ahead of time. Okay. All right. So as you can see, it's going to be an interesting year. We're going to get to see what's happening. You can see the teams, so you get the report on who's doing what. So you can just pop it up. You don't have to wait on me to email it to you this year. And then leaderboard. So it just kind of gives you the info. I'm not going to pull that up any further, but you can go through it and play with it. And I will certainly have everything set up ahead of time. If you have any questions about the tracker, don't hesitate to contact me and I'll be more than happy to go over this with you. The next thing we're going to go over is, let's go over the team sign up for the new folks. Most of you who've done it, it's the same form that we used last year. And it does have some brief instructions at the beginning. Don't worry if you make an error or a mistake, I'll be more than happy to help you with it. We can certainly do that. But you want to go in and see how many teams are you going to register this year. I'm just going to show you how it kind of works. So I'm going to hit 2 this time. Primary, I'm going to go with the same name I used for our test. How many members are on your team? So the first team pops up. This is the one right here. So this is primary team. I'm going to have 2 people and I'm going to add myself and my email address. So my department is Life and Work Connections. Oops. And my department number, 7101. If you don't know the department number, you can always ask your admin. They'll have that for you. My net ID is CL Davis. That's how I sign on to the computer. And then I'll click to the next button. So the next person's name, Angus is going to have a made-up email address. An employee. All right. So now it comes to the second team. Now you can get creative here and come up with another name. Let's see. Wilma Moves. She's going to have 2 members. If you have, say, 11 people who want to participate, in those cases, what I would recommend that you do is you would just divide those up so that you can have enough on each team, maybe have a little bit of inter-department fun or competition by doing that. My luck with these emails is because somebody's going to actually have these. Okay. So say your second team, maybe you have a student on there, and note that if you do have students, you won't see department or department number or net ID. Now students do have net IDs and that's why they're allowed to participate as long as you are the captain. Or the captain is an employee. Uh, Wilma works for Life and Work Connections, her department number, and then her net ID. Okay. So as you can see, we've got our team signed up. You're going to get notified. And what will happen is I will get notified via email that you have a team, that you've signed your team up. I attempt to get every one of those out to everybody. If you don't get yours or receive yours from me, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. It is possible that I got busy and somehow skipped over something. It happens. But I do want to ask that you make sure to check in with me. Hey. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I know a few of you have requested to talk with me, and I'm more than happy to talk with you after you've watched this and answer any questions you may still have. Keep in mind that this new tracker is definitely the keyword there is new. And I am not going to lie, I'm a little nervous because this is my first year with it. I've had a small amount of time to play with it. And that was back in August. So I've been reading up on the info to try to make sure I have it right. But I'm going to also try to set it up so that you can even text your minutes in if you want to. One thing I will tell you is keep in mind that if you try to register more than one tracker, one will override the other. So you want to make sure that you have the tracker that may give you the best benefit there, if you know which one that is. The second thing is if you text in your minutes at some point in time and then you text in another set of minutes, you will have one to override because it's only those minutes for that day. So if you're trying to do a different day, you're best to log in on your PC or even on your phone to the app and make sure that you get your minutes in for that day and time. Thank you for checking in with me today, and I look forward to working with you during the challenge. See you later.